Recording stopped.
Petitions and requests.
Right, but that's all right.
Recording in progress.
We can use that,
You-
probably that might.
Probably this one is easier.
Petitions and requests.
Well, yeah, we need to get, will that one work? Okay. Does that one come separate?
Hey, good evening. I call this meeting of the Greenbelt City Council to order. Madam Clerk, can you call the roll, please?
Good evening. Councilmember Fritz.
Present.
Councilmember Niesel.
Here.
Councilmember McKinney.
Here.
Councilmember Pompey.
Here.
Councilmember Pope.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Weaver.
Here.
Mayor Jordan.
I'm here. Please join us in a moment of silent reflection as we remember and think about Greenbelt residents and others who have passed away since the last council meeting. And tonight, Joyce Krieger. Let's pause. Thank you very much. Mayor Pro Tem, will you lead us in the pledge?
Pledge allegiance.
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And the Greenbelt Pledge, the strength of Greenbelt is diverse people living together in a spirit of cooperation. We celebrate all people. By sharing together, we're all enriched. We strive to be a respectful, welcoming community that is open, accessible, safe, and fair. Okay. So, let me just say this. City Council, we meet twice a month except in August, July, and December to set policy and to take formal action on behalf of the city. Tonight's meeting is open to the public, as are all Greenbelt meetings and work sessions, except for executive sessions as permitted under Maryland state law. We do welcome residents who are here in person, joining us on Zoom or watching remotely to participate, so we'll pause periodically. There'll be opportunities for public comment. If you are in the room here and wish to speak after raising your hand, you'll wait to be recognized, and then you can go to the microphone, state your name and address for the record. If you are on Zoom, you can use the Q&A feature at the bottom of the screen to submit a written question, or you can raise your virtual hand. And once again, you'll need to submit your name and address. We don't accept anonymous comments online. And finally, if you're watching remotely on cable TV or one of the other streaming services and you'd like to submit a comment, the best thing to do is just to send us an email. The email address is questions@greenbeltmd.gov. Please limit your remarks during the meeting to 3 minutes, 5 minutes during petitions and requests. And we ask all speakers to address the matter currently being discussed by council, remain respectful, and avoid personal attacks or questioning the motives of others. So before we begin our formal agenda, as always, we hear petitions and requests from the public. This portion of the meeting allows residents to bring new matters to the attention of City Council, including requests for city action or concerns not listed on tonight's agenda. Speakers may address council for up to 5 minutes. And we receive these comments, and we do not respond. Generally, we do not respond immediately on petitions and requests. We refer them. The city clerk records the comments, and the city manager and staff will review them. Sometimes council can put an item on the agenda, but generally speaking, we need to research the petition and move it forward. So at this time, I'd like to open up the floor to petitions and requests. Do we have any petitions and requests? I see one person actually sitting at the podium. You look familiar, sir. Please introduce yourself.
Good evening.
We need your name and your address.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council members, city staff, and residents. My name is Timothy J. Adams. I am the county council member representing District 4. First, I want to thank you for this opportunity to provide an update on the fiscal year 2027 Prince George's County budget and the investments we were able to secure for the city of Greenbelt. Throughout the budget process, I worked closely with Greenbelt leadership, county agencies, and my colleagues on the county council to advocate for projects that improve quality of life for residents and strengthen important community assets throughout the city. While we were not able to fund every request submitted this year, I am pleased that we were able to secure funding for several of Greenbelt's highest priority projects. In total, more than $1.65 million was included in the fiscal year 2027 budget for Greenbelt priorities. One of Greenbelt's top priorities this year was additional support for Buddy Attic Park and Greenbelt Lake. The city requested $510,000 to help maintain this heavily utilized regional asset. Historically, Greenbelt has received approximately $260,000 annually in Maryland National Capital Park and Planning support, primarily for programming at Greenbelt Aquatic and Fitness Center. The $400,000 secured in this year's budget represent a significant effort towards maintaining trails, amenities, environmental stewardship, and the overall quality of one of Greenbelt's most treasured recreational resources. Buddy Attic Park serves not only Greenbelt residents, but visitors from surrounding communities throughout Prince George's County. We also secured $400,000 for lighting improvement at Shroom Hills Park. These enhancements will extend field availability into the evening hours, improve safety, and increase access for youth and adult sports programs. This investment will help maximize the use of an important recreational asset for Greenbelt residents and surrounding communities. Another major priority was funding for the Greenbelt Museum rehabilitation and renovation program. The city requested $360,000, but we were able to secure $300,000 to help move the project forward. And bear with me as I try to keep this going. As you can tell, I'm very excited about what we were able to accomplish. This was by no means a small feat, but it required all the input and the opportunities we had to meet and talk. And I think the residents should be very, very proud of what you did in working as a collective, but also with me in the district office, and making sure that we saw those priorities and we got to work to support you with them. Now, the investment is especially important because the project has already leveraged substantial outside funding, including grants from the Maryland Historic Trust and other fundraising efforts. Moving forward with the project helps preserve those investments and maintain momentum on the planned improvements to the historic 10-B Crescent Road property. So the Greenbelt Museum plays an important role in preserving and sharing the unique history of Greenbelt, and as one of America's original New Deal communities and a National Historic Landmark. And this funding will help ensure that story continues to be told for generations to come. We also secured $65,000 for the Aquatic and Fitness Center's indoor pool recoding project. This was identified as a priority maintenance need and is part of the facility's standard 10-year maintenance cycle. While not the most visible project, this investment is critical to public safety, facility upkeep, and ensuring residents of all ages can continue to enjoy a safe and high-quality aquatic facility. I guess in closing is, together these investments represent more than $1 million directed towards Greenbelt priorities. They support our parks, recreational facilities, historic preservation efforts, and community amenities that residents rely on every day. I appreciate the partnership of the mayor, city council, city staff, and residents who helped identify and advocate for these priorities throughout the budget process. While I am proud of the investments we were able to secure this year, our work is far from done. Greenbelt has additional needs and opportunities that deserve county attention. And I remain committed to working with the mayor, city council, city staff, and residents to advocate for future investments that strengthen our parks, infrastructure, recreational facilities, cultural assets, and overall quality of life. Now, these investments are an important step towards and forward, but they are not the finish line. I look forward to continuing our partnership and working together to ensure Greenbelt receives the resources that they deserve and the support it needs to thrive. Thank you.
Yeah, let me just step out. We really appreciate your advocacy. These projects are needs that the city otherwise would not be able to meet. And, they are regional assets. These lines that
Absolutely.
divide municipalities from unincorporated areas are just lines. They're real lines in some ways, but, residents go back and forth. So, really, really appreciate your work. This is great news. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and thank you again to the council, city staff, and all. It's a collective. It's about us all working for the things that are good for our communities. And yes, I'm very proud of District 4 and how our individual communities serve the entire county. So again, thank you for all you do.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Wow, that's fantastic news. Let's see, are there other petitions and requests, Miss? And you've got a list, right?
Rosenthal was on the list.
Miss Rosenthal? Now, petitions and requests, that's not questions and answers, but if you have a petition.
Hi, Laura Rosenthal, 2 Court Garden Way. 2 brief items. I don't know in this election season, a lot of the people running for election or who are in office are trying to guarantee Greenbelt that we're going to get that FBI, and everybody claps. But just to let you know, there are many residents in Greenbelt that don't want the FBI here. We don't feel it will add to anything to economic development. People that drive to the FBI or take the metro will eat in the FBI cafeteria, and then they'll get back on the metro. There's not enough room for everybody to move to Greenbelt. We don't have enough homes. Our schools are bursting. So there's like many different reasons that people feel that the FBI will do nothing to improve Greenbelt. And I personally am not in support of everyone that's promising it to us. So I don't know how Mr. Adams feels, but I just want all of you just to remind you that there are many Greenbelt residents that from the beginning have not wanted the FBI. So thank you. The other very brief item is that I did write to Public Works and got a very nice answer from Kevin Carpenter Driscoll, and it was CC'd to several other members about the toters, the composting toters in Buddy Attic Park. In my experience, they are always filthy. And it's my understanding that they are clean 4 times a year, but obviously it's either not enough that they're not sufficiently cleaned, or 4 times a year is not enough, because you can see the rotting food that people are putting in there. It makes the place pretty disgusting, and I would imagine a lot of people will stop using the toters because they are so unappealing. And during this Save As You Throw right now, we're trying to encourage people, in addition to increasing their recycling, to start composting, and the easiest way to do that is to go to Buddy Attic Park, but I don't see it as a welcoming alternative. So I would encourage the city maybe to clean it every 2 months or every month till it starts to look, like something that people would want to use. Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you. Who's next? Do we have any? Okay, please. Yes, please. Trying something new, getting people to sign in when they come in.
I will
before a
sign
meeting.
in, Mayor. Thank
But
you.
welcome.
Well, thank you. Claudia Jones, 7D Laurel Hill Road. I received the GNR this week, as well as everyone else, and I was very upset and appalled to read illegal dumping and steady storm drain. As you know, GHI is going through a pipe replacement program. I went through it back in April. When I read this, which was submitted by James William Totson, who is also a GHI member, he observed illegal materials being dumped in the storm drain. It's right next to us. Okay? When I read this, and it happened on May 19th, and he got in touch with the mayor and you, Mr. Samaran, he did not receive any callback, no emails, no follow-up whatsoever. Basically, Mr. Thompson was ignored. This is criminal, this is illegal, and this is unacceptable. And as a GHI member, I am not happy. And I am not happy, if this is true, that Mr. Thompson did not get a response back from the city council. This is unacceptable. I don't know, this is not a questions and answers forum, but I am not happy. There's a GHI meeting on this Thursday. I will be going to that. But this is illegal. This is criminal, and I want this addressed. We have a Say It trash program, which I understand was instrumental and spearheaded by Miss Weaver. We're following it. GHI is following it. However, we have a contractor dumping materials into the sewer. This is contrary to the Chesapeake Awareness and what Greenbelt stands for. I want this addressed by the City Council. No member, no resident of GHI should be ignored, including Mr. Thompson, and I stand with him. And if this is true, I am disappointed of the members on this council, including you, Mr. Samaran, if you did not get back to him.
Well, thank you, thank you. I do have to say, I actually went and visited the site the next day and took a look around. I did not have a chance to get back to Mr. Thompson by email. Sometimes it's quite challenging to respond to every email that comes in, but I personally went and looked at the situation, and I'm glad that GHI is going to be addressing this further. Are there any other petitions or requests? Okay. So, yeah, please do.
When was that email sent out? Because I don't think I have this in my emails.
I don't think it came to all of council.
Okay.
It came out on May 28th. The email was addressed to the mayor and myself.
Okay, great.
The
So that's-
description was the subject was nondescript. It was generic. And
Okay, so I can stop searching, so I did not receive this email.
but I understand the matter was resolved.
Pete, I did actually go out there and take a look and knocked on his door. So that's going to bring us to the consent agenda. Are there any modifications to the consent agenda? Hearing none, could I please have a motion to adopt the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion? And if there's no discussion, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, that passes. And then there's the agenda itself. If there are no modifications to the agenda, could I please have a motion to adopt the agenda as presented?
Just one question about the agenda, Mr. Mayor.
Please.
Would it make more sense to do the presentations before the public hearing? I see there's a lot of people in the audience for presentations. I don't, if that, depending on how long the public hearing is, it might not be long, so.
Of course, there's no way of knowing. I don't think the public hearing is going to be long. So you want to make a motion to? Okay, anybody want to make?
Yeah, I move to adopt the agenda.
Okay.
Second.
Thank you. If there's no discussion, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you so much. So, good evening. We're going to officially recess our regular session to convene a formal public hearing concerning Charter Amendment Resolution number 2132-2026. The item focuses in on the second reading and consideration of the final adoption of the charter modification originally introduced by Councilmember Poppy on May the 11th. So this is a opportunity. We're opening up the floor to public comment, and that's pretty much it. So at this time, I'll bang the gavel. This meeting is now recessed. So if anyone would like to speak on the topic, please go ahead and raise your hand and you can go to the podium.
Check online.
Okay. I'm not seeing anyone or hearing anyone, so let's give it another 30 seconds.
Burst into the room.
Okay, one last call. Would anyone like to speak during this public hearing? Okay, hearing none, let's go ahead and move on to the next topic on the agenda. And at this time, I'll reconvene the regular council meeting. So that's going to bring us to presentations, and we have 3 proclamations tonight. The first one is June 2026, proclaiming Emerald City Pride Month here in the city of Greenbelt. The proclamation mirrors the foundational values of our Greenbelt Community Pledge in so many ways, just recognizing our vibrant LGBTQIA+ community, residents, families, professionals, others who live here in the city. So, Xander, are you here to accept the proclamation? Why don't you come on up? Welcome. It's great to have you here. Whereas the Greenbelt Community Pledge states the strength of Greenbelt is diverse people living together in a spirit of cooperation. And whereas this city strives to be a safe space that does not tolerate violence, harassment, or hate speech. And whereas LGBTQIA+ individuals and families should be able to live their lives with dignity and respect. And whereas Greenbelt's LGBTQIA+ community encompasses all ethnicities, religions, and professions. And whereas the diverse lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer LGBTQIA+ community significantly contribute value to the academic, economic, artistic, and social realms of our society. And whereas the patrons and supporters of the Stonewall Inn protest in New York City resisted harassment that was all too common for the members of the LGBTQIA+ community. And whereas out of this resistance in June of 1969, the LGBTQIA+ rights movement in America was born. Now, therefore, I, Emmett V. Jordan, by the authority vested in me by the residents and City Council of Greenbelt, do hereby proclaim June 2026 to be Pride Month in Greenbelt, to recognize the many achievements of the LGBTQIA+ community, to celebrate the great diversity of the American people, and to reaffirm our belief that LGBTQIA+ rights are human rights. So I'd like to present this to you. I don't know if council would like to stand as well. We can get a photograph. Shamar Higgs is there taking the picture. Why don't you take a hold of this? And that way. Thank you very much. I don't know if you'd like to, if you have any activities planned coming up this month or in the near future, please say a few words. Shamar Higgs, welcome.
Greetings, beautiful humans, as I guess I have to say now. But no, I actually prepared something tonight. This has been an amazing experience. Xander, you're not sitting down. Come here, please. Come here. No. This is not how it happens. So yeah, I just want to say, like, first of all, like, I want to say thank you. I'm honored for real, like, to be up here, to like recognize Xander here, who last year came and like was really interested in getting involved with Emerald City Pride. And as my late brother, our friend Rick Gordon, I think it's only right to not only be a steward in making sure this like Emerald City Pride moves forward, but also making sure that we have individuals that are like able to carry the torch for not only like now, but like for future tense. So I am extremely honored to be able to like shine a light and allow another human being to shine their light in the name of like love, respect. But yeah, it's a long thing. But basically what I want to say is just that Emerald City Pride, it started out as just a really quirky, because Rick loved this city. Emerald, like the Wiz is going to happen in a couple of days at the Emerald, well, in August. But basically go on freeartforall.org. All right, freeartforall.org. The schedule is on there right now. We have a makeup class, we have a voguing class. If you didn't make it last year, you definitely missed out. We have the festival that's going to be happening, Greenbelt Hunk situation. But there are so many, there's a bonfire that really, that's where all of us really got a chance to meet and like have community with each other. And if more important time, like right now, we need these kind of spaces. And thank you, Greenbelt Council. Thank you, the city leadership, city manager, all of the like volunteers and all the amazing humans in here in Greenbelt. Literally, this is, it's an honor to be able to like be a steward to like allow people to be free in themselves. So thank you, freeartforall.org. Check it out because it's 3 months. We're still here every single day. So let's celebrate every day. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay. What was that website again?
Free art for all.
freeartforall.org. Or you can just Google the space Free Art for All or like the space Greenbelt. You know, like we're not that. If you actually type in the words, yeah, it's not that hard to find us. But yes, Instagram. I think we're on TikTok, but Facebook, Instagram for sure. But freeartforall.org. It's as soon as you go on the website, you'll see it.
Okay,
It's like
thank you.
9 events.
Definitely interested in the voguing workshop. So moving on to our next presentation, I've got a proclamation for the week of June 6th through the 14th as Chesapeake Bay Awareness Week in Greenbelt. The Chesapeake Bay is the nation's largest estuary system, heavily impacting the regional economy and quality of life for over 18 million watershed residents. Councilmember Pompey serves as the chair of the Chesapeake Bay Committee, I believe. So I'd like to actually, if you'd like to receive this proclamation and stand. Whereas the Chesapeake Bay is the largest and most productive estuary in the United States, with its watershed spanning 6 states and the District of Columbia, and whereas the Chesapeake Bay watershed covers 64,000 square miles, and it's an extraordinary and vital natural resource with some of the nation's most productive farm and forest lands. And whereas the Chesapeake Bay watershed is home to more than 18 million people, many whom rely upon the watershed's natural resources for their livelihood and recreational amenities, and whereas an important source of food for Maryland and the east coast of the United States, the Chesapeake Bay produces more than 400 million pounds of seafood harvest each year. And whereas more than 76,000 farms in the Chesapeake Bay watershed contribute more than $6.8 billion in value-added contributions to the economy in the region and provides food to millions of Americans. And whereas the rich history and pivotal economic importance and astounding beauty of the Chesapeake Bay watershed never cease to amaze residents and visitors alike. Whereas the City Council, the city of Greenbelt is in the Anacostia River watershed, which is important to the character and quality of life of this community and ultimately the health of the Chesapeake Bay as a whole. Now, therefore, I, Emmett V. Jordan, by the authority vested in me by the residents and City Council of Greenbelt, do hereby proclaim June 6th through 14th as Chesapeake Bay Awareness Week in the city of Greenbelt and urge all residents to recognize the importance of this observance and to participate in events, activities, and educational programs designed to increase awareness of the importance of the Chesapeake Bay watershed in our community. I'd like to present this to you. Councilmember, would you like to say anything about your activities on COG in regard to the Chesapeake Bay?
Sure. I was not prepared to make comments tonight, but I will say, as the mayor mentioned, I'm the chair of the COG Chesapeake Bay Water and Policy Resource Committee, and we are a group of county and municipal and some state government officials who track state legislation, county legislation as it relates to our watershed, and we really just try to advocate for clean drinking water and to preserve our watershed as best we can. So that's it. But thank you for this, and thank you all for recognizing this very important week. And I know there was a cleanup this weekend as well, or this past weekend at Buddy Attic. So thanks to everyone who participated in that.
Thank you. Councilmember Fritz.
Just want to, my favorite part of Chesapeake Bay trivia is the 6 states that are, how big this watershed is. It's Maryland, Virginia, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Delaware. Can anyone guess the 6th state, NDC?
New Jersey.
It's New York.
Oh, New York.
The Chesapeake Bay watershed goes all the way from New York, and that water runs all the way down into our bay.
That's right. I guess that's the Susquehanna River, the headwaters of the Susquehanna.
From central New York.
There you go. Okay, so we're going to conclude our presentations tonight by proclaiming June 2026 as National Gun Violence Awareness Month in the city of Greenbelt. This annual observance honors the memories of countless victims and survivors of gun violence nationwide. I know Rachel Alexander, Edith Beecham, and somebody else are here from Moms Demand Action, Everytown Gun Safety, and why don't y'all come up? Welcome, welcome. Welcome. So, every day, hundreds of people in the United States are killed by gun violence, and more than 260 are shot or wounded, with an average of more than 19,000 gun homicides every year. And whereas people in the United States are 26 times more likely to die in gun homicides than people in other high-income countries, and whereas Maryland has 105 gun deaths every year, with a rate between 11.6 and 13.5 deaths per 100,000 people. This is a crisis that costs the state more than $10.5 billion each year, of which $385.9 million is paid by taxpayers. Maryland has the 35th highest rate of gun deaths in the United States. Prince George's County has the 2nd highest firearm homicide rate in Maryland. And whereas securing firearms through responsible, safe storage practices is a critical component of preventing accidental shootings, youth suicides, and unauthorized access to weapons in schools, and whereas National Gun Violence Awareness Day is inspired by Hadia Pendleton, who was tragically shot and killed at age 15, and honors her life and friends' tributes and many other victims and survivors of gun violence. And whereas we renew our commitment to reduce gun violence and pledge to do all we can to keep firearms out of the wrong hands and encourage responsible gun ownership to help keep our children safe. Now, therefore, be it resolved, I, Emmett V. Jordan, by the authority vested in me by the residents and city council of Greenbelt, do hereby proclaim June as National Gun Violence Awareness Month, as we encourage all residents to expand efforts to prevent the tragic effects of gun violence and to honor and value human lives. So I'd like to present this proclamation to you all. Council, why don't you stand? And you can take a hold of this. Thank you so much. So I know there are events all over the country, banner wavings on overpasses, so many commemorations, so many lives lost. I just wish that there was more than we can do, and I guess the first step is taking action. So I wore my orange tie because it's actually Wear Orange Week, I think. Would one of you like to just say a couple of things about local activities, local organizing around gun violence prevention?
So I'm Edith Beecham, and I'm just one of many volunteers. In fact, thank you, Mayor, for highlighting all of the statistics about gun violence, but it affects individual families in heartbreaking ways that never end. And yesterday in D.C., for example, there was a young woman who went to a friend's house, and her parents and the parents of that other child had not had one of those uncomfortable conversations about, by the way, do you have guns in your house? And because the parents of the one child did not properly store a weapon and bullets were left in it, that child is no longer with us. That was just one, but there are as many people killed every year in this country because of the myth that guns make us safer or that they are a sporting weapon. These are not sports, and we don't shoot our food. These are my personal opinions. These are not the opinions of the nationwide organization. We are 11 million strong now of Moms Demand Action and Students Demand Action and Brady, I've forgotten the full name of the Brady group, but for Jim Brady, the press secretary of Ronald Reagan. There are many, many organizations under the umbrella of Everytown for Gun Safety. So if you Google Everytown for Gun Safety, or you Google Moms Demand Action, or Students Demand Action, you can take 2 minutes and just find out more about how you can take one simple action. And maybe it's our Be Smart campaign, and learn about that, which is how to have uncomfortable conversations with your kids' friends and their parents, and save your kid.
Thank you so much. Ms. Alexander? Okay, hey, thank you for the work that you're doing, the organizing, and keeping us focused on this issue of gun violence. We have to find a way to get a handle on this. So many lives are lost, and it's preventable. So thank you for your work. Thank you all. So at this time, we're going to move on to the next item, the next section of the agenda, which actually is administrative reports. We got a full weekly breakdown from the city manager. There's a document that's a link that is included on the agenda. But tonight, Mr. Summerone has some specific information following up on the cell phone tower issue, and there are always a lot of things going on in the city. Mr. Summerone and staff have their fingers in so many different dike holes. But you do a great job. Mr. Summerone, how are you tonight?
I'm well, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, council. Good evening, residents. The topic you just referenced is the cell phone towers issues. We reached out to our partners, the Verizon, T-Mobile, and AT&T. As you know, we had a town hall session with them and the public, and it was well attended. Good feedback. They also made a lot of commitments, particularly from T-Mobile and Verizon. T-Mobile has been responsive, and they've did their monitoring of the city. They've toured the city, getting readings on the cell phone towers. Obviously, the T-Mobile is the telecom that has the most robust service in Greenbelt Center, where we're having the most challenging issue, the cell reception issues in the city. Sherrod and the T-Mobile team have been on site trying to find trouble areas. They haven't really found much more than what they had previously reported. Verizon, on the other hand, has been unresponsive. So I'm sad to report that I don't have an update. Giselle's inquiries have gone unanswered. I will be following up directly with them because we have other contracts that we are working to transition away from. One of the things you'll see in our report is that we are disconnecting several landlines. We're looking at moving our entire switch from Verizon to another carrier. So I think their lack of response and the services that we're experiencing in different parts of the city are affecting services that we provide. So we're looking to have been actively switching service providers. Among the services that we switch, all of our cell phones, most of our cell phones are the T-Mobile platform. Our police vehicles, just 2 weeks ago, we completed the transition of all our police vehicle hotspots from Verizon to T-Mobile. We're now working on the vehicle telematics, so that's several accounts as well. We regret to have to make such drastic changes across the board, but we have a job to do, and that job is dependent on the reliability of our technology. So we've had to make those decisions in the interest of city operations and our residents. But I'll continue to push on Verizon to improve reliability issues, and I encourage our residents to call. We put instructions on the website of how to file cell reception issues. Important that they call from their cell phones that are being affected by the signal, because Verizon and T-Mobile and AT&T can track that call to where it's originating and track that device. And that's the best way of getting those complaints into those telecoms. And that was reported by both T-Mobile and Verizon at the time of our town hall. So if residents are watching and you continue to have issues with your cell phone, please call your telecom, your service provider with the phone that you're having an issue, so that they can troubleshoot both your device and the connection to your device at the location that you're having an issue. I think in the meantime, we're working on ways that we can improve access. I spoke with you earlier today about what Public Works and I had discussed. We're looking to repave the parking lot here in the Roosevelt Center, and we are exploring putting in conduit in the parking lot for future things. So additional conduit for power and telecom. So those will require separate conduits. I also spoke with the mayor about running flat fiber over to the Roosevelt Center to be able to provide wireless connectivity there. Or my primary interest is getting fiber out to the cinema. But I understand that the Roosevelt Center, Mr. Hartman has brought this up several times, that the Roosevelt Center vendors or merchants there are underserved by broadband service. There's only one provider, and there isn't a strong broadband speeds. So I looked into that. I'm running into some regulatory matters. It looks like we are not authorized to have other than government internet traffic on our fiber. So that would prevent us from having additional entities on our fiber. But I'll continue to explore that, because I'm coming from a space in Ohio where we were able to dedicate fiber lines and bandwidth to residential and businesses. So I was hopeful that we could find an alternative. But I'll continue to explore that. Maybe the alternative is not to offer it through our own bandwidth, but maybe getting an additional fiber line from a commercial provider into this building and getting it out to the Roosevelt Center.
Yeah, those folks from Verizon at the town hall meeting, they swore that they were going to do some sort of a signal study to find out if with their infrastructure, if they could realign the antenna that they have in such a way to serve folks. It's mostly people in the North End, Lower Hill, and Research and whatnot. And I'm guess I shouldn't be shocked that we haven't heard anything back, but they promised.
Right. Right. So we'll continue to push that line. I think we're reaching the point that maybe we need to consider the third-party cell tower arrangement. We at that town hall, all options were put on the table. One was redirecting the towers, and that's the first thing to do, redirecting the antennas to serve that area of the city. The second cost-effective step is putting additional towers on existing facilities. So not building a new tower, but what existing facilities we have that we can add antennas. The third and the most cost burdensome solution is an additional tower. And for those of you that stayed around after the town hall was completed, we got to see some actual service gap maps where it would be conducive to build a tower, and both providers recognize those gaps. So I think there is an opportunity there. It happens to be city-owned property, but that's a big lift. It's a big lift to erect a new cell tower.
Okay, questions or comments? Councilmember Pope?
So, what, didn't we have something up on the water tower before they started working on it? And I know, I think they took it off or it's down. Is there any chance that we can put something on that tower? I mean, it's not our property, but.
So the land is our property, the tower is not, right? There were two antennas on that tower, one's a T-Mobile and one was our own antenna for a radio system we no longer support, so we're not putting ours back up on the water tower. T-Mobile's plan is to put back their antenna there. So that was a T-Mobile antenna. We worked with T-Mobile to realign the antennas around the city to make up for that lost antenna. So T-Mobile has been successful at temporarily shutting that tower, that antenna down, and being able to still serve the city. Yeah, but long term, they will be able to put their antenna back on. I think that's an opportunity for WSSC to put on tower. If you recall, there's an agreement that was signed between planning, community development director, and WSSC to give them full authority to monetize that tower and put cell towers on that. So as I interpret the agreement, they could still do that, and they could do that for more than one provider. They wouldn't be bound to.
Maybe that's an option.
Yes, that would be an option. I think the city gave WSSC that authority.
We don't have to build a new one, so I think that might be easier. You already have a really tall structure, so.
Correct. Correct, and that's that second option that we discussed. There's orienting antenna or putting additional infrastructure on facilities that already exist.
Other questions for the city manager? Yes, please, go ahead.
Do any of our other sister municipalities have a stronger relationship with Verizon? So I'm wondering, can we leverage that? I mean, obviously, they may not have the same cell phone access that we do with some of our northern residents, but I'm just wondering if there's a way that we can connect that way.
I'm not aware that other communities have the issues that we have. Looking at our peer entities, New Carlton, College Park, there are in dense or more urbanized areas, and I think we looked at that when we looked at the antennas. We have a large section of Greenbelt Center that's wooded and doesn't have a lot of infrastructure. So that's the challenge in that community, that it's wooded area, not a lot of development. And we haven't been proactive or in favor of new cell infrastructure.
Yeah, I understand the concern about the service itself. I'm just trying to figure out how can we leverage other friends and neighbors to be able to push Verizon further. So if someone else has a stronger connection with that company, let's use that, I guess is what I'm saying. Let's use the partnership to leverage other partnerships, if that's possible.
Yes, and you know, my form of business practice is we're not getting a good service, we're moving on. There's other service providers.
Councilmember Fritz?
And similar to Councilmember McKinney's point, you know, perhaps our state legislators as well might have relations with Verizon, you know, because I'm sure that they, Verizon is well represented in Annapolis. I'll leave it, I'll say it like that. And in Congress too. So, you know, they might not listen to the city of Greenbelt, but we do have higher level representatives as well. If the ask is once again, can we just get a response, right, to this? Are you going to do the thing you said you were going to do? Because we're not asking you to do something you said you weren't going to do. Just can you get back to us? And if the answer is no, at least we can close the issue and move on. But until we, you know, I think that our state legislators, or barring that, maybe our federal delegation might have a relationship that we can at least help us inquire or maybe get more of a response to our inquiry.
Right, and the request from Councilmember Pompey came in last week. We were more diligent about following up with them last week. Now that it's on your radar, we'll press a little harder on our end and remind them that what we might have stop some of our business lines with them, there's still more business in our portfolio with them. So we haven't given up entirely on Verizon.
Yeah, there's no excuse. They said they were going to do this. They need to do it, at the very least, and they've had plenty of time.
Any more questions on this topic? I have more other items to report on. We have the Business Expo on June 24th. That's a Wednesday. I'm also excited to report that we have our new economic development manager starting next week on the 15th. I met with Pepco to go over our inventory. We're still working through the inventory issues. We found some new discrepancies in the data, but not significant that would change the billing substantially. We did meet with GHI about the streetlights. They have expressed concerns about taking on the streetlights that are on GHI property, and they wondered if there were any agreements between the city and GHI that predates all of us that would have given the responsibility of the streetlights to the city. I'm not aware of any such agreements, and you might be surprised I haven't been able to find it in our documentation. So if anyone knows any information about any potential written or verbal agreement about the city taking responsibility for those streetlights, I welcome any insights.
I'll check the news review archive.
Okay.
Maybe.
You know, one of these days, I've been telling myself that I should download every PDF of the Greenbelt News Review and load it on SharePoint and search things through.
You can search on their website. It actually works pretty well.
Okay.
Yeah, you can search the PDFs on the news review website.
So we're working through that. So I welcome if council has any insights, or if Ms. Davis is listening and has any background. I appreciate that. Also related to the lights, council had made a strong commitment to fix or address the lighting issues between 11 and 13 Ridge Court. The GHI has worked on the project and has all the proposals to get the project executed. The $10,000 that we committed from ARPA funding would not fully fund the project. They are short in total $6,210 that they're asking our assistance for to complete the project. Of the request is for 3 additional lights. 2 of them would be on public right-of-way, and those 2 light fixtures will cost $4,140. They would like to have an extra light fixture just in case for replacements. As you are familiar with some of these projects, you may have a run of these fixtures that is discontinued, and then you need to make repairs and you can't find a suitable replacement. So they're asking for a 3rd fixture. My question to council is, would you be interested in using existing funds, given that the city had already committed the $10,000 for the project? My recommendation would be that we find a way to fund the additional request, because these 2 of the 3 lights would be on public right-of-way. So it would not be fully GHI's responsibility. They would be in public right-of-way. And if council is amenable, I can look to see where I can get the $4,140 to acquire those 2 additional lights. But I welcome your feedback. Doesn't have to be now, but just put it on your radar.
We would actually own those fixtures and the poles?
They wouldn't be on public property, so it would be our responsibility and our liability, but they would not be on poles. The product that GHI has vetted are solar lights that are ballers, and they're similar to what exists throughout GHI, but these would be solar devices. Very good-looking ballers, if there's such a thing as a good-looking or not good-looking baller. Mm-hmm. Very nice, I should say.
Okay, sort of art
nice.
moderne or something?
Excuse me?
Art moderne kind of architecture?
I'm sorry, I
don't think
know
it's
what
going to
the...
be that modern, right?
So I welcome feedback. Other exciting news, we've launched our facade program. We had a well-attended pre-bidders conference. We had most of the Roosevelt Center merchants in attendance. I'm also excited to report that our second application for facade improvement was approved. So we were thinking of a multi-year approach to investing in the Roosevelt Center, and we wanted to start off with a first tranche of 150,000. We now have $300,000. Now we can't do it all at once, so we have to space it out. So the first program is going to be the 150,000, and we'll try to get all those projects done by April of 2027, and then kick off the second program. But that's exciting that we now have $300,000 to directly invest in the facades of the Roosevelt Center and those merchants.
Good, very good.
The road resurfacing program project will start on July 1st at Hanover. So wanted to put it on your radar that we will be coming to council requesting approval the June 22nd meeting for contracts worth a little over $1 million for road resurfacing and concrete work. So I wanted to give you the advisory on that so that you're not surprised that our final meeting of the fiscal year, we're asking you to approve $1 million of road resurfacing work. Now, you'll be approving it in the 2026 fiscal year, but it will be a fiscal year 2027 expenditure. We are kicking off our fiscal year 26 audit tomorrow. So we just wrapped up the budget process and kicking off the audit tomorrow. So we'll be busy over the summer working on the audit. And just a reminder, that's due October 30th is our deadline for the audit.
We're using the same auditor this year?
Yes, for this year, and it's the final year, I am.
CLA? The firm?
It's Midas, MIT, Midas, MITUS.
Oh, okay.
And same firm that we have used, Mayor. You know, it's common to change auditors every 3 years. I'm hopeful to get an extension because we've had a lot of transitions. We have Ms. Gaiman's no longer with us. They know our operations well. So we have him this year, but I'm hopeful that we can get an extension next year and hope council is supportive of that. It might be stretching the best practice for an auditor, but I think it's prudent given the changes that we're having.
Understood.
Now, welcome any questions on the rest of the budget. There's the administrative report. There are a lot of things that we reported out on.
Okay, well, thank you for touching on so many important points. If there are no questions from council, see, Mayor Pro Tem.
Do we have the EV chargers by the library turned on yet?
Oh, thank you for that reminder. We expect to turn them on tomorrow, Wednesday, so in 2 days. I received notification today that our blank accounts have been activated. The meter is in, the power is in, so we're hoping to do the configurations to turn on the EV chargers on Wednesday. On Thursday, we expect the vendor to be out to fix the failed asphalt that's on there. There's a trenching that we need to do across the road. So my hope is that Friday that work will be completed and we can move on to the next EV project, which is Buddy Attic, and we have $150,000 for that project. The process to get these EV chargers installed has been troublesome to say the least, discouraging to want to embark on another EV project. But we made commitments with the funding allocated by the state, and we need to move forward. But I hope that we have a meeting tomorrow with a county executive, and it's one of the zoning and permitting. It's one of the topics on the agenda, and we want to have more control over municipal projects because the DPI and zoning problem just takes far too long for us to execute our projects in a timely manner and a cost-effective manner. These are projects. This project was a $200,000 project. If it was a private entity running this project, there would be no financial incentive to do it because it's so time-consuming that it will utilize so much staff resources to get them done.
Well, we certainly have the capacity and the know-how to do it ourselves, so perhaps we'll make some headway with those discussions. I think at this time we do need to move ahead to the next agenda item, which is under legislation. It's item number 9. It's a charter amendment resolution of the Council of the City of Greenbelt to amend Section 3-22 powers of the city charter to authorize the City of Greenbelt to engage in collective bargaining with certain eligible non-exempt, non-managerial, and non-confidential city employees as provided in Article 7 of Chapter 13 of the City Code. And this is an item for second reading and adoption. Councilmember Pompey, I believe you introduced this for a first reading back on May the 11th. I don't see a copy of the materials in the packet. Councilmember Pompey, would you like to introduce this for second reading and adoption?
Sure. For second reading and adoption, a charter amendment resolution of the city, resolution of the Council of the City of Greenbelt to amend Section 3-22 powers of the city charter to authorize the City of Greenbelt to engage in collective bargaining with certain eligible, non-exempt, non-managerial, and non-confidential city employees as provided in Article 8, Chapter 13 of the City Code.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Councilmember Pope has seconded. Well, thank you. As I said, I don't see a copy.
Page 41 of
Page
121. Yes. If it was not in the packet, you couldn't approve this tonight.
Right. So I had understood that Mr. Taylor from our law firm might be on the line. Is that the case?
Mr. Taylor is joining us for the Labor Code. We specifically asked him to join us for the Labor Code. I did not hear from council members that you wanted Mr. Taylor for the charter amendment.
Okay.
And being cost sensitive, I've asked him to be here at 9. Otherwise, he was happy to join us at 6:30.
Thank you so much. So discussion. I think there may be a few individuals here that would like to speak on this topic. Would anyone from the public like to make a comment? Let's go to the microphone.
Yeah, I'm John Barry. I'm from UFCW 1994 McGeo, and I'd just like to speak in support of the amendment as I've seen it written, as it's been presented. Okay? That's it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Other comments?
Anyone online?
No, there's no one with a hand raised online.
I feel like this means we did a really good job of discussing this in the public because
Yeah.
nobody has anything left to say.
We've had all the conversation.
Okay. Well, if there's
We
no
do, we have Mr. Orleans in the room.
Mr. Orleans, please. Yes, please.
Bill Orleans, resident. This is a long time in coming, and I don't want to do anything or say anything from council agreeing to this recognition tonight. But later in the meeting, it's going to be discussing the labor code, so-called, and I have a number of comments when that comes up. But the nature of the ordinance recognizing the right of Greenbelt's employees to organize makes reference to the code in ways that this particular ordinance, which council will be adopting shortly, hopefully, suggests that the ordinance is, in the way it was written, is not consistent with some of the elements that are written in the proposed code. And I would hope for a fuller discussion later this evening when council discusses the code. But hallelujah, please adopt this tonight.
Well, thank you. Is there anyone else that wishes to speak? And anybody on council want to say anything else? Because if not, I can ask the clerk to go ahead and take the roll. Madam Clerk?
Councilmember Fritz.
Aye.
Councilmember Niesel.
Yes.
Councilmember McKinney.
Yes.
Councilmember Pompey.
Yes.
Councilmember Pope. Mayor Pro Tem Weaver.
Yes.
Mayor Jordan.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Thank you. So we do have another agenda item on the labor code later in the meeting tonight. So congratulations. And would you like to say anything, Councilmember Pompey?
No, I mean, thank you to all of council who worked really hard on this. I really appreciate all the questions that everyone asked and all the attention everybody gave to this, and also to our residents and our staff members who also were very diligent in following this process, and the city manager as well. So I just appreciate everyone's efforts on this. And I was just wondering if the city manager could remind everybody, now that we have passed this charter amendment, what happens next?
The city code. So,
Doesn't it take like 45 days for the charter
Oh,
amendment?
I'm sorry, yes,
That's what I meant.
yes,
Sorry, I
yes.
should have been more specific. But yes, just to remind everybody what the process is, since we don't do this a lot.
yes, thank you, Councilmember Pompey. So there's a 45-day period of which the public can challenge this charter amendment. There are very strict procedures to challenge the charter amendment. I do not anticipate any issue. I have not heard of citizens looking to challenge this charter amendment. So there is a 45-day waiting period. In discussing with council, we all aware of the 45-day period, which is why the conversation regarding to the labor code was scheduled to occur after the charter amendment. Because now that you have approved a charter amendment, you know what issues that need to be addressed in the labor code. So that conversation starts later tonight. I'm sorry, that conversation has been held for several months now. So the labor code that is on the agenda should not be new to anyone. I think all those changes and items that are being proposed as changes have been discussed on more than one occasion. There might be different perspective on them, but they have been discussed. So looking at the timeline, the labor code amendment can be adopted by the time or shortly thereafter the charter amendment taking effect.
And it takes effect immediately after the 45 days?
Yes, but typically the charter amendment, yes, the city code has a shorter enactment period.
Well, thank you so much. Let's go ahead and move on to the next item on the agenda. I believe it's item number 6. It's the FY 2027 Program Open Space Annual Program Approval. And we've got our acting Director of Planning and Community Development, Jamie Fear, is here for the next 2 or 3. Agenda 3. Count them. 1, 2, 3.
Had to bring my water up.
Their meeting.
So, Jamie, welcome. It is so nice to see you here tonight. Do you want to go ahead and describe this program, Open Space program? We submit this application every year, and it's considered. So it's not a done deal, but this is our request.
Yes. And so for a little bit of background, this year, the county's fiscal year 2027 program open space apportionment available for allocation to municipalities within the county is $7.4 million. My understanding is this is left over from previous years. This is not a new apportionment from the state. And so we're working with kind of dwindling funds at this point. We don't know if we will get more money, the county will get more money to work with in the future or not in future state budgets. But at this point in time, the county has met its level of service goals for parkland, so 100% of that allocation can be used for development projects. And the local match required for development projects is 10%. We last year submitted 2 projects that were accepted, just for additional background, into the POS program. We call Program Open Space POS for short. One was the Greenbelt Station South Core Recreation Amenities, or Indian Creek Park. And the other was the Greenbelt Youth Center Roof Replacement and Patio Improvement Project. We did not encumber those funds. So what happens is that we request the money, and it is there and available for encumberment in that fiscal year. The project must start in that time and show some progress. We did not encumber the funds for those. Sometimes we would then repeat our ask for those, but for both of those projects, we are not repeating the ask. Indian Creek Park is currently on hold, which is one of my other items for this evening to give you all an update on. And the city was awarded other monies for the Greenbelt Youth Center roof replacement, which was great news. So this year, we decided to go bigger and actually just ask for one larger project, one larger development project, being the design and construction of the Spring Hill Lake Recreation Center expansion, with a request of $2.7 million in POS funding, with a required city match of $300,000, of which $250,000 is federal funding that we have now. Just for background on that project, for over 2 decades, the city has been exploring the opportunity to expand Spring Hill Lake Recreation Center. And this proposal builds on earlier plans that we do have and would include design, sort of a design build within it to implement the design and construction of those additions, architectural improvements to existing transitional spaces, and other site improvements to the existing recreation center. We submitted it for preliminary approval to the county, and we're given the go-ahead. So the next step was to take it to you. I mean, it's not an automatic, it's not a given, but the county gave us their initial, yes, this makes sense, given whatever other requests that they've been given for the year. And that the next step would be to submit the actual program, which is a little more detailed. We essentially sent them a line item that had a title and the amount, but to send them a little bit more detail by June 19th for full approval. And then we would still need to go through the process of submitting the project to the Maryland Board of Public Works for their approval and to encumber the funding. And it is a reimbursable project funds.
Thank you. That's a very thorough explanation. If I could ask the time frame for the process, actually submitting the full proposal, and would we get the word that this is a go sometime in 2027?
I think it's pretty quick. We got the preliminary word in less than a week.
Oh my!
From the county.
Mm-hmm.
So the timeline is fairly quick. I think, and the submittal is actually in the packet. That's the entire submittal. It's a very brief submittal that we provide them.
Mr. Mayor, my hope is to have this before the Public Works by the end of the calendar year. I'm eager to get the funds encumbered because Ms. Fear mentioned earlier that there is no new allocation of POS money. In fact, the state legislature did away with the funding for POS in this budget cycle. And given the budget dynamics at both the state and the county level, I cannot strongly anticipate that this funding will be available next budget cycle as well.
Okay. Questions from council? Please go ahead.
So thank you for giving us an overview. Can you give a little bit more detail on, so if the funding comes in, what the community would actually see happen in this fiscal year? Or is it mainly for continuation of design and because I know it's a long process, right, to get anything built. We've had these plans for years. So I'm just trying to understand timeline of when people will actually see something physically happen.
I don't think we've gotten that far. It would not be in this fiscal year.
Okay.
There would not be anything physical. I imagine we would have updated renderings to look
Okay.
at and get feedback on, and also updated cost estimates. But no groundbreaking just yet, I don't believe. Did you anticipate that?
Not groundbreaking. I've shared a packet with council on all the different concepts planned for this site. I have also shared with council, I'm not convinced that the current design meets the needs of the community. However, I would like for this project to move forward as fast as possible. The community's been waiting for over 20 years. There's a lot of good in the concepts. There's several different iterations that various groups work through through the projects. So I think that we have enough there to move forward with, and enough being that there are very distinct features of the renovation and expansion that we can move forward with, and that is 2 separate additions on different parts of the existing recreational center. I've spoken with the team about how do we piecemeal or break up the project We've looked at two different approaches. One is a design and build contract approach, that we can contract a team to work with us from build to construction. There are some things that we could do separately, as we're working through the process of encumbering funds. Again, my hope is to get the funds encumbered by the Board of Public Works by the end of the calendar year, so that limits our ability to spend any money on the project. We can't spend money on the project unless the funds are encumbered and we have the authority from the Board of Public Works to spend money on this project. But there are things that I'm looking to move forward with, such as geotechnical analysis of the soil around the recreation center, so that we can know what load the soil can hold for a construction project. I would like to think, I think of my predecessors having approaching the work just like I do. That if we're going to put forward a concept design, that some of the vetting, whether that is possible at the site, would have been done. And so I believe that the site is buildable. I've heard rumblings that it might not be to the extent that people expected. So I want to do some geotechnical as soon as possible to analyze the soil compaction and composition to know that we can move forward with. So if we can vet those things, we can start putting together a mitigation plan around those soil conditions. You speak with any engineer, you can build on anything. Dubai is built on sand. Folks have built in oceans. I think we can build something there, and the community deserves to have more amenities in that space, and I think this is buildable.
And I would just, if I may add, once you encumber the funds, I don't think I have it here, but I believe they want you to really use them within a relatively short amount of time. I want to believe it's something like 5 years.
Oh.
And so it would put the project on a faster track than if we weren't working with these funds.
Okay, thank you.
Well, thank you. Other questions or comments from the council or from the public? Hearing none, let's go ahead and take a vote.
I don't think we
Can I
actually have a motion on the table.
Would you like to make a motion?
Yeah, so I move that we approve the proposed fiscal year 27 program open space annual program for the Spring Hill Lake Recreation Center expansion, single project with a request of $2,700,000 in program open space funding with a required city match of $300,000, of which $250,000 is federal funding.
Second.
Second.
Ms. Pope has second. Did I hear that? Ms. Pope?
I think Ms. Pope got it in earlier.
Yeah, okay. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Say aye. Opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, if I add, I encourage council to look over those concept plans. Also, if you find that it will be useful for us to have a work session to work through all those documents, I'm happy to schedule that.
Thank you.
Did we just discussed maybe having one?
Did we discuss having a work session on the?
Oh,
I don't
no.
think we have scheduled it, but I think if you believe it will be necessary for your benefit or for the citizens' benefit.
I mean, sorry. I was going to say, when was the last time the plans had been shown more generally to the public? Has it been like a decade? It's been a while.
I think it's been 20 years.
Yeah.
I was able to date the project back to at least 22 years, 23 years, when they were vetted with the work group and the APB.
Okay.
I think it was, maybe ABB and PRAB.
Would have to go through APB and PRAB.
So then I would think that would be a good idea to do some sort of work session to bring people up to speed.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Yeah, I wonder if actually more of a community-style meeting rather than a work session would actually be more of a community engagement meeting, maybe similar to the update for the Hanover bicycle, although hopefully with better attendance. But I think that seems like that council can hear about it at the same time as the public, and I think if we do, I think that might be a better better strategy, and we could do it over at Spring Hill Lake, presumably, and try to get, I mean, maybe we can come up with some hook. Maybe we need a food truck or something to get people to come, or at least some kind of food, something. So yeah, a DJ afterwards. I don't know, something to try to get some more people, especially from that community. I mean, the Salsa y Salsa with the food truck worked really well. So I would rather do a community meeting that council attends and listens to the update at the same time as the community than a separate work session. I think that's more efficient and gets to the people who really should be hearing about it.
I like that idea, and we could do some of our own survey on the sites. We could do the stickers on all the different concepts and usage that people requested. So the group that put together the concepts, they went through a very robust process of identifying spaces and uses. So we could print those on large scales and do like a charrette style
I think that'd be
survey.
nice.
So that meeting would be led by us.
But that'd be a staff, yeah, that'd be a staff-led
meeting.
community meeting that council could attend and participate, but I'm thinking of it as a staff-led community meeting.
The Armory.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll work with the team to schedule that.
Yeah.
You have questions from the public?
Yeah, I'm just wondering, Ms. Pope, please.
No, I think that's a great idea, to hear from the community and also what they would like to see in that space and what's even possible after you do your study, what can be built, or how can we enlarge it. But I think that'd be interesting. I think that'd be great. That's really exciting news, actually.
Yeah.
Really exciting.
So the sequence with the referral to, APB and PRAB, that usually would happen before a community engagement piece or after?
I think in this case, the community meeting could happen before because we're working with documents that are 2 decades old. So presumably those are not going to necessarily be the designs that we specifically move forward with, but it would be to capture ideas for new designs. And if we are awarded the funding, then we would be working with a design and build firm.
Okay. So, and we voted, right? Or we didn't vote?
You voted for the POS
voted, okay.
project. You did that.
Right, okay.
And I'll
Okay.
reiterate Ms. Fear's comment that the concepts are not construction-ready drawings, so we couldn't go to permitting for that. But the concepts as they've been presented and the diligence that the work that the team did 20-some years ago is very robust that you could take